WWE wrestler, The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Very exciting night here tonight. The Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series Championship race, the Shift Championship 100 here at Dover International Speedway. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Alongside me, Aaron, Aaron Creed, Tim Terry may or may not be joining us here a little later on. He's on the road just a little bit, got caught up in some traffic, stopped for some Timbits doing whatever it is Tim does, but having a couple of meetings and doing the thing that he does up there in the Maritimes in Canada. But Aaron, exciting night here tonight. We got a fantastic 100-lapper race here at Dover. We got a championship that's pretty much already called, but we're saving all that hype for the end of the race because we still have 100 laps to get through here at Dover first.
Yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet coming to the end of the season here, but 100 laps on this 1 mile concrete surfaced facility. That's going to be a whole lot of racing for us to enjoy here in Delaware this evening. And yeah, there's still some points battles to be settled. We said that the championship's pretty much been decided, but for instance, third place, 1 point separating between third and fourth, Zane Farrell and Brent Roy. So there's still a lot to be decided, a lot of bragging rights before this season is out. And, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Just getting the final moments here in qualifying. 22 drivers have showed up for the finale here tonight. 20 drivers have taken time so far, the fastest being Brent Roy. John Peters currently slated to start P2 with Ryan Messer, trying to read two lines at once there. Dale Glessner and Keith Lord currently the top five with just a few minutes left to go here in qualifying at Dover. And speaking of Peters and racing, real racing, it's starting to get warm outside. Tracks are getting ready to kind of kick off their seasons all over the place in North America, Canada, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, wherever it is, wherever it's warm, people are starting to go racing. And Aaron, you were at Hickory. You and I were just talking at this past weekend.
I certainly was. It was a great time with the past Super Late models there and street stocks and Legends cars out at Hickory, and a lot of folks coming down from up north to do some racing. And a few of the NEP representatives were there, but most didn't fare well, unfortunately. Corey Casagrande out of the race early on both nights. John Peters, he was moving up through the pack, kind of like what we see here every Thursday night on Saturday's race, and unfortunately got caught up in something not of his own doing. And same went with Wyatt Alexander. I believe Wyatt actually won a heat race to begin the evening, but he did not, unfortunately, have the result that he wanted either. So it was a tough break, but it was also great seeing and meeting some of them in real life that I haven't had a chance to meet yet.
100%, and it's really cool that real racing season is starting to kick off. We've had kind of a struggle fest getting to the real racetracks over the past couple of years with the COVID-19 pandemic, and it seems like we're starting to kind of get back to quote-unquote normal, but really looking forward to the racing season. Stafford's getting ready to kick off at the end of April, which is already a month away, which is fantastic news. Rent a Race Car getting ready to kick it off. I'm going to be in the car July 1st. Be sure to be at Stafford Speedway the night before the SRX Series race. I'm really looking forward to that. But before we get there, before we get to the real racetrack, we have to decide ourselves a champion, and we have to have ourselves a 100-lap race here at Dover. And we made mention Brent Roy was slotted to start on the pole, and look at that. He held on to it. Brent Roy, the Canadian, one of the few Canadians here in the NEPs series, going to start P1. And John Peters, the reigning defending series champion, going to start P2.
And I believe Peters is actually going to go to the back again for the G&G's gift deal that we're doing. And I believe that's still in effect for the last race. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but so far they're the first two to Team Miles the Monster. And but behind them, Ryan Messer, Dale Glessner, making up row 2, Keith Lord, Steve Daddio in row 3, Evan Bollier and Ryan Salvatore with a great qualifying run in 8th.
Got to give a shout out to Ryan Salvatore. Sal, the stat man, he's been hooking us up with all of the details, all of the stats, all the points, all the good stuff. Each and every race I can show you. We've got pages and pages of notes and statistics and all sorts of goodies from our Sal TV. Ryan Salvatore, big time shout out. And behind him, Cody LeBlanc going to start P9. Dylan Kopech rounding out the top 10. There you see Zane Farrell in the 14, the Stoggs car in the number 11 starting spot, and Magnum Mike Hopkins going to start P12. There you see Kenny Kibbe back there in 13th, Brandon Newhouse on the 14th, Brandon Marhefka, Austin Belke, DJ Gerard, Charles Lewandowski, Brian Ship, Jeffrey Brown, Jason Ricker, and Scott McDonald rounding out the 22-car field at Dover. And we actually had Jeff Brown up in the booth here this past Monday night for the TCM special event. Pretty cool to have a driver's spectrum up in the booth, and it was pretty cool to see. But speaking of pretty cool to see, pace car, he's going down to get himself a corn dog and a Coke. We are getting ready to go green flag racing one final time here in Season 3 of the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. Here we go. Brent Roy and Dale Glessner are going to be the two cars leading them down to turn number 1.
On the front row, Brent Roy gets the advantage. Ryan Messer under Glessner already for second. And Messer, he's really come on strong here lately with a couple top 5 finishes. He actually ranks second among drivers with finishes between 11th and 20th, which isn't a stat you'd probably want. But that's actually pretty remarkable considering he didn't join us until halfway through the season. So, but he's really shown his strength here in recent races. And there you see him moving up to second, passing Dale Glessner, who files into third. Glessner's one of those drivers. He's been maybe the hard luck driver of the year in NEP, and I'm sure he'll want to shake that off here with a solid run to close out the season.
Wheeling and dealing, slicing and dicing. Charles Lewandowski having some issues in that 01 car. Looks like a little bit of a connection issue. Got a little bit squirrely there on the front straightaway, but was able to hold on to it. Now battling Kyle Costa. Check that, Cody LeBlanc in the 7 car right next to him, right in behind him now, tucked in the tire tracks of the Brembo 01. He's going to hold on to it. And as we cross the stripe to begin lap number 4, Brent Roy still holding on to it. Starting to put a little bit of distance now on Ryan Messer, fellow Canadian, right in behind him.
Yeah, it's still very early, though, so you don't want to get out too far. And I have a feeling that the tires drop off pretty decently at a track like this, such as Dover. So they got to watch themselves. Brent Roy, well, we said he kind of pulled away there. Now Messer's right on his tail, and with Glessner right behind, Daddio 4th. And how about Ryan Salvatore running in 5th right now? Great run early on for the number 12.
Picking up positions like it's his job, doing a great job in that RSL TV number 12, working on the Twitch streaming a little bit earlier on today, and a little bit earlier on before the race here, and RSL TV, you can get him on Twitch, gets all sorts of streaming done. Right inside of him, though, the 56 car, Evan Bollier, pretty cool to see that he's running up in the top 5, holding on to P5 right now as he gets by Salvatore in the number 56 car, moving up towards the front. And got to give Evan and crew a shout out. We know he's got a difficult last name. There's about 12 vowels in there, and awesome to see the little highlight video of all the track announcers, iRacing and real racing, just butchering the last name. And we obviously don't want to get anybody's name wrong, but it was great to see that everybody in that camp is a good sport about it and had a couple of laughs about it. Pretty cool to see, and I'm just glad I'm not the only one.
I think I've got it down now. For the early part of the season when I joined it, I was kind of just saying, there goes Evan, avoiding it. But Evan Bollier doing a great job in 4th now, passing Stephen Daddio. And Evan's one of those guys that really has nothing to lose this weekend. He's pretty much got second locked up in the final point standings. Can't really catch John Peters. Can't really fall back. But, that when you have nothing to lose, hey, why not just go for the win? So we see the 56 currently a bit of a gap in front of him and behind him, but that could evaporate pretty quickly. And if he continues to run the line that he does, and now we see a nice side-by-side battle between Kenny Kibbe and I believe that's DJ Gerard.
DJ Gerard in the 13 New Hampshire car up on the high side. And no, don't look now. The reigning defending 2-time champ, John Peters, in the 09 car. Pretty much locked the championship up with starting here tonight, but again, we're going to save all that hype for after the race. John Peters already up to P12. P13, check that, behind DJ Girard and Kenny Kibbe. That battle for 10th, 3 cars strong. And Peters already gaining 10 spots on the start of the race here in the first 10 laps. 10 down, 90 to go. These guys are picking these laps up, putting them down relatively quickly here, Aaron.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit quicker pace than I thought we'd see right away, but pace car driver's been able to enjoy that corn dog and a Coke, and I'm sure he's pretty much finished now, but probably ready to kind of sit back and relax, hopefully. The moment we say that, sometimes there's a yellow, but right now we're clean and green. Brent Roy and Ryan Messer from north of the U.S. border leading the pack right now.
We've seen Brent have a couple of wins here this season and really seems to excel on the bigger tracks, the super speedway style tracks, and I guess you could technically call Dover a super speedway. It's almost like a mix between a hybrid between a super speedway and a short track, so it almost pleases a lot, almost the entire field here. And it's actually one of the first racetracks, one of the first NASCAR tracks I went to as a kid, which is pretty cool to see it here on the iRacing service. And if this is something you wanted to check out, be sure to check out iRacing.com. New memberships, 40% off for anybody that wants to jump in and try the iRacing experience. Get yourself a steering wheel. They've got all the information right on the website. Bunch of different cars, tracks, dirt racing, short track racing, super speedways, trucks, stadium trucks. There's MX-5s, Mazdas, off-road, Formula One, Nürburgring, that 27,000-mile track out in Germany. That's on there. There's a super speedway from Japan. All sorts of different things you can race in the iRacing service. Be sure to check it out. iRacing.com, 40% off for new members, and makes a good. Well, I guess you could start shopping for Christmas. It's only what, 10 months away, 6 months away, something like that.
Never too early.
Never too early.
But yeah, definitely some great deals there, and but yeah, 15 laps complete already though, and battle for seconds heating up here between Messer and Glessner. Can't say that too many times fast. I know you already had some problems with that one going through the starting lineup, but yeah, it's pretty close battling going on right now, and we are under yellow.
First caution flag here of the night. Dylan Kopech in the 16 car, DJ Girard in the 13 car, looking like a modified, both of those drivers, missing some sheet metal off the front of those cars, but what that does is it gives us an opportunity to back up and take a look at the U-House Race Designs instant replay, and we can find out exactly what it was that put us under caution for the first time. I'm going to focus in here on Cody LeBlanc in the 7 and the 78 of Magnum Mike Hopkins. Side by side here in front of Dylan Kopech. Everything looks A-okay here at this point. You can see Mike Hopkins goes up a little bit high, comes up in, it kind of collects the 7 car, and there you see Scott McDonald in the 44 getting involved in that, as well as DJ Girard. Just nowhere to go. Unfortunately, wreck happening right in that racing groove. So that is a tough break for a couple of quick cars.
Yeah, and it looks like that was Brandon Marhefka in the 13, who started off the season on a high note, but kind of been downhill here lately for the young man from Pennsylvania. And yeah, so a lot of work to do now. Still a long way to go, so we'll see who gets their damage fixed or who decides to kind of ride it out. A good break for Jeff Brown, who was riding there in the 22nd spot. You never know. They have such a quick pace here at Dover that you could lose a lap in a heartbeat. So we see some of the damaged cars come down, but we also see like DJ Girard, Charles Lewandowski, and I think we were just talking about him, Jeff Brown, coming down pit road also for some adjustments.
Ryan Messer going to give up that second position, come down, get 4 tires, Sunoco race fuel, and maybe some adjustments on that number 1 car. Cody LeBlanc, Brandon Marhefka, Austin Belke, DJ Girard, Charles Lewandowski, Jeffrey Brown, and Scott McDonald joining Dylan Kopech down on pit road. And this is going to be interesting. 18 laps on a set of tires, definitely going to be feeling the wear and tear on that left front, or on that right front rather. And I think these drivers might have themselves a little bit of an advantage if this isn't a test session for later on in the race. Maybe some drivers coming down, taking 2 tires, kind of feeling it out a little bit to see what it is they need to do to come home in victory lane.
Yeah, it's definitely quite possible. And with a 100-lap race, a lot of strategy can come into play. It's not just, one of those kind of quick dash races where they're making only one pit stop. I mean, I would expect everyone to have to make at least a couple pit stops. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Right now, the lead cars all decided to stay out on the track for the most part. So Brent Roy will lead them to green. Actually, it looked like Ryan Messer came in. We just were talking about him. So now Dale Glessner moves up to second, Evan Bollier to third, Stephen Daddio to fourth, and Keith Lord rounding out the top 5.
There you can see Ryan Salvatore still knocking on the back door of P5 in the 6th spot. Zane Farrell holding on to 7th. Kenny Kibbe, John Peters up to 9th. And Uhouse rounding out the top 10. That's going to be Brandon Uhouse there in P10. So business starting to pick up. John Peters starting to move up towards the front and showing exactly why he is on his 3rd championship caliber season in a row here in the NEP Series, as he is reigning and defending series champion. Want to give a shout out to everybody tuned in here tonight and tuned in all throughout the season here. We've been having a blast calling these NEP races here on Vidane TV. Thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, even on Twitch. Did something a little bit different here tonight and streamed the last half hour or so of practice over on twitch.tv/Strictly94. We appreciate everybody taking the time out of your Thursday nights here to be with us. Give us a quick like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and let your friends know that you're watching some iRacing action here for the very final time this season with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing. And as I've said that name so many times this year, I think that's the first time I messed it up. But the lights are off on the iRacing pace car. We're lined up 2x2 all the way through. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here on lap number 20.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go. The pace car's bringing them down pretty slowly here. See what if Dale Glessner has anything for Brent Roy here. We saw earlier that Glessner started to the outside of Roy on the initial restart, and why we're still bringing them down slow. We're still coming down here under the bridge and down to the back stretch and everything. So still kind of keeping that suspense going here under this yellow, but we'll be going green here on lap 21 of 100. Evan Bollier and Stephen Daddio making up row number 2 now. And coming through the gears here, and here we go. Coming down the front stretch, still bringing them down pretty slow for the restart. And here we go. Brent Roy looks like he's going to get the start that he wanted, and Evan Bollier with a great start behind and files into second, entering turn number 1. Evan Bollier is going to be one to definitely watch out here for, as Glessner files once again into 3rd spot.
Top 4 gets single filed pretty steadily here. Keith Lord finally getting down and away. There you can see new paint color, new colors there for Zane. The Stonks number 14 car doing pretty well, getting up into that P6 position. But he's got John Peters in tow down on the bottom side of the racetrack. That 09 car looks like it is hooked up and fast everywhere. Ryan Salvatore slipping back to 8th. Jason Rickard, haven't talked about him all night long. He's been quietly climbing the ranks. The 9 car up 13 spots, currently running in the 9th position, having a heck of a run here at Dover. You can see he's got Kenny Kibbe in behind him. Ryan Salvatore slipping back to 10th or so. Brandon Uhouse, Mike Hopkins right inside, or outside rather, of the top 10.
Yeah, Ricker's having a good run there in the 8th spot now, coming from the back, and he's one of those that was also at Hickory this past weekend helping out, and good to see him having a good run here at Dover early on. Still very early on. We haven't even approached the quarter of the way complete mark yet. And as we look at through these, what an amazing facility the Dover International Speedway is. 1 mile concrete oval, that high banking that these guys are racing on. And there we see them navigating throughout the top 10 once again. Kenny Kibbe moving to 8th now. And there's John Peters running in 6th. Knocking on the door of a top 5, but he's backed off a little bit of Zane Farrell in the Stonks ride. And I kind of hope, I know it's not going to happen, but it would be nice to see that Stonks wrap at Jennerstown this year.
You know, I think with the right financial backing and the right partners, we could definitely make that happen. So if anybody wanted to sponsor a Stonks Zane Farrell number 14 car at Jennerstown, I'm sure we can make that happen relatively easily. There's pretty good things that can happen with that 14 crew. Zane's doing a great job, up 6 spots, started outside the top 10, currently running in P5, having a relatively clean race so far. You can see getting in the corners kind of high, driving down the banking just a little bit, using the racetrack to kind of make it turn just a little bit, and he's got the 99 car up in front of him trying to get down and around Evan Bollier in the 56, and well, he's about to have a mirror full of that 09 car. John Peters marching his way up towards the front.
You're thundering through the corner now, and good to see pretty much the entire field here running within, the same zip code. We have a couple that fell a lap down due to damage there in that last yellow flag, Dylan Kopak and Scott McDonald. Everyone's still kind of running within the same pace right now, and remains to be seen, though, how that plays out. If we end up with a really long green flag run and some pit stops needed and things like that, that could all change. But right now, Brent Roy enjoying about a 1.5 lead as Glessner has retaken second.
And there you can see the battle for second is about 5 cars deep. You can see Glessner pulling away just a little bit. Evan Bollier slipping back. Steve Daddio right there. Charles Lewandowski having a great run up 13 spots from where he started earlier on this evening and moving his way into the top 5, getting around Zane Farrell. And there you can see John Peters now on the inside of Farrell in the 14 car up high. The 09 car still coming up towards the front. Kenny Kibbe back in 8th. Keith Lord, Jason Ricker, the top 10.
And this has to be one of Lewandowski's favorite tracks because he finished 5th here last season. So definitely a track that seems to work for him in the number 01 car, as he is up to 4th spot now. Lewandowski doing a great job in the number 01. I kind of remember he did pretty well in his, I don't know, was it still the Busch North days back then when they raced it at Dover?
I believe it was. Evan Bollier hitting the wall just a little bit, collecting himself and getting back out. That's going to drop him back just a little bit. Lewandowski going to go around the high side, make it look easy in that 01 car. Yeah, I believe it was the Busch North Series. And funny story about sim racing. Charles Lewandowski, obviously a household name in the Northeast Wrestling. Wow. Northeast Racing. He might be a wrestler too. Who knows? But definitely a name that you recognize at the racetrack. And Charles Lewandowski was actually one of the first real racing names that I recognized in the iRacing service many, many years ago. We're talking 10, 15 years ago when I was still doing the sim racing after getting, my homework done and all that stuff. But it was always cool for me to see real racers jump on into the iRacing simulator, and that's what NEP is all about. Every one of these drivers is involved in real racing somehow, whether they're a driver, a crew chief, a crew member, maybe they work at a track, or they own a track, or they, flagman, anybody. It's cool to see all the personalities at the real racetrack going home and coming in together here on a Thursday night, putting on some racing action here over the past 2 years with the NEP series here on Verdane TV, and it's very, very cool to me. And it's also cool to be able to go to the track and get a high five or a fist bump from somebody you may not have met before at the real racetrack if it wasn't for iRacing, if it wasn't for Verdane TV. So we've been able to build a lot of friendships, a lot of partnerships, and a lot of viewers and likes and follows and all that good stuff over the past 2 years at Verdane TV. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of our fans, all of our competitors, and man, it's been a fun season. It's been a blast, and these guys showing exactly what it is that they do here on a Thursday night. Good, clean racing. Only had 1 incident here so far. Charles Lewandowski moving on up to second. There you can see John Peters, champ, running in P3 up to the podium already, and that's after qualifying second, dropping to the back, and moving his way up through the field. It only took him 36 laps to get up onto the podium. How long is it going to take before he gets up to that lead?
I think it might take a little bit of time, though. The pace that Brent Roy is setting right now is pretty impressive, and Charles Lewandowski's been on a tear here coming up through the field. So I don't think it's going to be easy for Peters to catch and pass either driver. But we're going to have to see what happens here as we continue closing towards halfway. Still got a little bit to go until we're at that point. And we'll have to see if we keep going green. We're probably going to have to see some green flag pit stops too, and that's when strategy is really going to work its way in. Mid-pack here. Actually, not really mid-pack, but middle of the top 10. We see Dale Glessner slip back a little bit to 6th spot. Zane Farrell into 7th, Kenny Kibbe 8th, and kind of it's hard to tell if some of them are kind of their cars are falling off here from this long run, or if they're just kind of taking it easy now at this point. If you can't really contend for the lead, is there really a point to really giving it all it's got and using the car up?
And we did have half a dozen, maybe 8 drivers or so come down pit road here on lap 18 when we did have that one and only caution so far here this evening. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on to see where those drivers have kind of raced themselves up. Ryan Messer was one of the drivers, gave up P2. He's currently scored in the 13th position, so he was able to move up just a little bit from starting in the back after coming off a pit road, but kind of stalled out right there in 13th. You can see he's got a couple of cars right up in front of him that he could get up around and pass, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit before those tires start to show just a little bit more wear. And you got to keep in mind too, this is a longer race than these drivers are used to. We're usually right around the 60 to 75 mile racing and races throughout the season here on Thursday nights, and here we're running 100 miles, 100 laps here at Dover, and it's going to be a little bit longer. Pit stops are going to be a little bit different. You're going to be a little bit more tired at the end of the race because, oh yeah, there's force feedback in that steering wheel. You get mentally and physically tired doing the sim racing thing. Not quite as much as real racing, I will admit that, but definitely a mental and physical workout. And even though it's a little bit longer than it doesn't seem like much, but that little bit of extra distance definitely going to throw a monkey wrench into some of these plans that have been working all season long.
Yeah, I don't think they've run a race this long since the Oxford 250 back in January, or at least in this particular league. So yeah, it takes some getting used to, and you can't really compare Dover to Oxford either. No, I would imagine Dover's a bit more taxing, running through the banking and the speed that you carry off those corners at a place like this compared to somewhere like Oxford, where it's pretty much a flat as a pancake. Sometimes you kind of look at it and go, okay, there's negative banking here. So we see Cody LeBlanc down pit road in the number 07, and not sure what's going on here. Maybe just making a green flag pit stop a little earlier than everyone else. Perhaps. And we got problems though on the racetrack. That's Jeff Brown.
Yeah, Jeff Brown pointed in the wrong direction and big time nose damage on the front of that number 29 car. Going to bring out caution flag number 2 here on lap number 45. We'll back that up. We almost saw it live, but we're going to back that up, take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay, and see exactly what happened here to the 29 car.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens here. Brown had a bit of a cushion there on 21st and 22nd spot. He hasn't finished last at all this season. So, he led some laps, and it looks like he just brushed the outside wall. And at a place here like Dover, especially on those straightaways, there's nowhere to go except that inside wall when you hit it hard here at this track.
Yeah, and you can see Miles the Monster must have been hungry, and he had the appetite for the 29 car. So that's a tough break for Jeff Brown. Still getting that car collected up here. You can see trying to get it pointed in the right direction, and big time nose damage on that ride. So tough break for Jeff Brown. We'll see if he can come down pit road, maybe use a quick repair if not already. But while we're talking about it, how about pit road? Everybody except for the 01 car down on pit road.
Yeah, it's feeding time here on pit road. And I think Lewandowski was one of them that pitted on lap 18. Maybe that's why he moved so fast through the field with those fresh tires. But now he's going to have to hold off all of these competitors. We'll see if Brent Roy can get out first from pit road. But looks like we're going to have some 4-tire stops. And Brent Roy is out first, followed by John Peters. Looks like the 99, the 56, 14, and the 4.
Yeah, great camera angles here from TrackCams 22. Check them out at TrackCams 22 and on Facebook. Been using them all season long here with the NEP group and all the racing action, all the oval racing action here on Verdane TV. Very cool to have them allow us to use those camera angles here at Verdane TV with the iRacing service. And you can see it looks like Scott McDonald he's gonna come down pit road, not gonna take that wave around. He's got some damage, it looks like, on the right front pardon me, of that car. But Lewandowski going to hold on to the lead And it looks like Brent Roy going to come out second, John Peters third, Daddio and Boley are going to be the top 5. Zane Farrell, Kenny Kibbe, Dale Glessner, Magnum, Mike Hopkins in ninth, and Jason Ricker rounding out the top 10. 19 drivers still on the lead lap, 20 drivers still out on the racetrack. Cody LeBlanc down on pit road, down a lap, and it looks like Jeffrey Brown going to call it. Well, the crew's working on it. We'll see what they can do in that 29 crew. It looks like he might have used his fast apparel already, so we're going to see if he can get the virtual hammers on that car and get that thing worked on.
Yeah, and LeBlanc, tough break for LeBlanc because, it looked like maybe he was playing the strategy there and coming down for a green flag pit stop earlier than everyone else, and it kind of bit him with Brown bringing out the caution there and getting trapped a couple laps down. So tough break, but you never know. Still a long way to go. More than half of the race. Could make up those positions through some additional strategy. And we're going to see what can happen here once we go back to green. A bit of a cleanup after that hard hit Jeff Brown took. So Brown's still on pit road, still working on it. So Brown's going to have an uphill battle here on this last race of the season. He's really improved so far this season compared to the last one, even led a lap or two, and which not everyone can say they've done so far this season.
Coming in tonight, 34 drivers have started at least one race here this season, which is astronomical and very, very cool to see. We made mention lots of real racing ties, and they run deep in the NEP series, and it's pretty cool to see. And it's been great. We've had some massive fields throughout the past couple of weeks, or throughout the entire season, really, kicking it back a long time ago, a few months ago anyway. And it's exciting to see. There's been lots of fun racing, lots of trash talk on Twitter. If you're not following NEP iRacing on Twitter, you need to. Go check them out. Check out NetBets as well. Lots of friendly banter going back and forth between the drivers and fans. And the broadcast commentary team jumps in there every now and again just to throw in a penny or two. But big-time fun here in the NEP series. Just about halfway. Everybody's been down pit road at least one time. And we may or may not have one more pit stop depending on what the strategy holds. But we know they can at least go from here on end to the end if it stays green, and it may very well do that. But we'll see. Green flag flies once again, going to cross the stripe here for lap number 49.
Yeah, Lewandowski gets a bit of a jump there. It looked like he kind of held back there just a bit there once we did get going. But now he gets ahead a couple car lengths over Brent Roy. And some battling in the back, mid-pack here, almost another wreck waiting to happen there as Michael Hopkins has some issues there, but keeps it straight and keeps it going, and he's currently running in the 11th spot. A lot of jockeying for position here going on in the middle of the pack.
Here he comes, Jeff Brown in the number 29 Mustang rejoining the field, couple laps down. John Peters now in the lead, gets around Brent Roy. How did we miss that? He's already 0.4 of a second, almost half a second, now out in front of Brent Roy, and 26 car trying to kind of latch onto the back bumper, maybe learn a thing or two for the second part of this race. Steve Daddio back in the 99 car. He is holding on to third, Zane Farrell fourth, and Evan Bollier running in fifth.
Yeah, not sure what happened there because the last time we checked, Lewandowski was in the lead. And it looked like he slipped up quite a bit there and almost got the ball there when we were looking there, him falling out of the top 5. So perhaps some things shuffled around, trying to avoid the 0-1, and Peters was able to be the one that was fortunate to get ahead. So John Peters now the driver to beat. Brent Roy filing into second for the moment, and Stephen Daddio running third. So a little further back, though, Keith Lord running in 10th, trying to hold on to that top 10 spot. And he's got a whole pack of competitors. Lewandowski, so you can say the tires, that strategy not really working in his hands at the moment. So as he continues to slip further and further back through this field, and drivers going by him on the inside and outside.
Yeah, you saw very briefly 3 wide there. Very sketchy situation here at Dover, the high banks. In the corners here, but everybody gets by, no harm, no foul. But that 0-1 car dropping like a rock on those old tires. Everybody else coming down here with fresh tires. All 19 drivers except for Lewandowski came down. 19 drivers on the lead lap. 3 drivers off the lead lap. Cody LeBlanc, Scott McDonald, and Jeffrey Brown rejoining the field here after a vicious crash. Solo spin just a few laps ago there on lap, I believe it was 49 there for caution flag number 2. But you can see it kind of settled out here for the top 10 or so. Pretty much single file. There you can see a little 2x2 battle with the 24 car of Austin Velke. Gets everything up by there and kind of slips on back 2x2 behind them. The 3 car gets it sorted out. Every time I call these guys out for racing side by side, it's almost like they're listening and they straighten everything back out and get single file.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen some clean racing, despite a couple yellows. It's been pretty clean. There's the pair of 13s that we're battling there as we go back up front. Brent Roy's not keeping John Peters too far ahead. Peters is going to have a miracle of Brent Roy for a long while to come, I have a feeling. And we ride along with Brent Roy now, a couple-time winner in NEP this season, and looking for another one here at Dover. And he keeping right up with John Peters. Brent Roy has been the class of the field so far since practice. So John Peters, though, is always going to be one that's tough to pass, and we're slowing it down and going back to yellow.
And in unfortunate events, it is, in fact, the 78 of Magnum Mike Hopkins that has wrecked on lap 58. We will take a look at the U-House race design. We kid because we care. Sometimes. We'll take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay and find out what happened to that 78 car and see if he had a little help or if it was a racing deal. And it looks like it might have been a little bit of a racing deal. A couple of drivers going for that same piece of real estate, battling side by side there with the 13 car. You can see they come out of turn number 2 A-OK, but they just go for that same, hard hit on that corner there. It's a good thing it's a safer barrier, but still massive front end damage for that 78 car. Spins it on around. You can see tries to grab a gear, get the thing rolling, uses the banking, and going the wrong way for a second there. Yeah, he's going to turn around going a long way. But caution flag number 3 flies here at Dover.
Yeah, tough break for Mike Hopkins. Was knocking on the door of a top 10 there for a little while. And now we're going to have a handful come down pit road. And no surprise there, Lewandowski is one of them. It'll be interesting to see, though. This might be his last pit stop. The strategy might actually work in his hands, potentially, if the others all come back down pit road. And he's actually got, now he'll have fresher tires by about 10 laps. I'm sure the tires kind of start to fall off almost immediately at a track like this. It's an abrasive concrete surface that Dover has. So we might end up seeing Lewandowski march through the field once again.
Yeah, that's going to be a story to definitely keep our eyes on here as everybody came down. They've got the fresher tires 10 or so laps ago, like you made mention, and we did see, Lewandowski, once that green flag dropped after everybody else came down, dropped like a rock. So will he be able to drive up through the field? Is he going to hold off and maybe wait for a caution flag to come out, like you said, to try and stay out and hold on to the front? It's gonna be interesting to see a couple of drivers coming back down to get some service. Dylan Kopech, Cody LeBlanc, Scott McDonald back down on pit road. But 60 down, 40 to go, and it's crazy to think here, Aaron. 40 laps to go, and the season's done. All we got after this is the awards show, which we're still waiting on a date. But we are going to be doing an NEP awards show, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be able to tune in live on Vidane TV, and anybody that's familiar with the Super Truck Series, it's going to be very similar to the draft night that we had, where we're going to get all the drivers together. We're going to hand out some awards, have some laughs, and do a little trash talking as only NEP can do. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to tune in to Twitter, Facebook. We'll be all over the place on social media once we get the details ironed out for that. But definitely going to be a fun NEP banquet for sure. A virtual banquet, if you will.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I haven't been able to attend one yet, so hopefully it'll be on a night I can attend and get my tux ready and maybe invite over a date or something like that. And we'll have a good old time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sport jacket still fits. I put on a couple of pounds. We'll call it the COVID-20, but it's a whole lot more than that. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm pretty sure that thing opens. I just can't get the button to go. But It's fine. I'll be sitting in a chair. We should be okay.
Well, speaking of being okay, we're getting ready to go green here, I believe, the next time by, as they're doubling up once again. John Peters and Brent Roy will be on the front row, and like you said, we said this is a long race, but we have less than 40 to go. It's gone by like that already, and one of the drivers to watch out for now is Kenny Kibbe. He has quietly moved into that fourth spot in the number 4. We've seen him be in contention for some wins this season, and I believe he actually won two times, actually 3 times so far this season. It's been a little while, but Kenny Kibbe always one to watch there in the number 4 as they come down this under the bridge, the Ally Bridge. Some fans probably watching from that bridge and getting a pretty neat view. But here we go. We're going to get ready to go here just momentarily.
And the pace car driver going to get down to the safety of pit road, lap number 61. Look at that. John Peters taking him to the green. He's going to get the jump that he needs. He's going to clear the Roy machine of the 26, and he's going to move up to that high side. Down into turn number 1, John Peters. Somebody call SpaceX. He's blasted off again.
Yep, John Peters, great restart again, and 2-car length lead. The inside on these restarts really just seems to be the favorable lane, and nobody's really been able to make that outside work on this high-banked Dover International Speedway. As Brent Roy, though, trying to zero back in on John Peters here for the lead. Bollier up to 3rd, Kenny Kibbe 4th, and Steven Daddio currently rounding out the top 5.
Dale Glessner, Jason Ricker, and Zane Farrell right outside the top 5. Ryan Messer and Keith Lord rounding out the top 10 so far here, lap number 63. Here at Dover, live on Verdane TV, the Shift Championship Night 100 laps on the docket here tonight. We're going to be crowning ourselves a race winner and a champion. We made mention John Peters pretty much mathematically claiming that championship with starting the race here tonight. Pretty much starting the race last weekend, but or last Thursday night here on Verdane TV, but we're going to leave the hype for the end of that. We got a championship to celebrate. We got a winner to celebrate, and we still have 35 laps to go. So lots of action here in the next 35 laps or so. You can see that top 6 now. Dale Glessner wanting to join the party here on Verdane TV. And there's Ricker in the 9 car. They're kind of accordioning up a little bit. Starting to, they spread out just a little bit after the restart, but they're starting to kind of close bumpers a little bit. Bollier getting a good run, the 26 getting a good run. Kind of closing on up against each other.
Yeah, definitely some close racing going on here. In the middle stages of this race, we still have 19 cars on the lead lap. Brian Shipp currently the last, and Brian's actually doing a good job too, just staying out of trouble in number 48. And that might actually be a key here at Dover, as we've seen a lot of races over the time at this Dover track where coming down towards the close of the race, you start seeing some multi-car incidents and nowhere for lots of racers to go. I mean, last year's results with the NEP, there were only 5 cars that finished on the lead lap. So could we see something like that again? We'll just have to wait and see. And as close as things are right now, I think we could see the complexion of this race kind of change as we get down, as those laps wind down towards the checkered flag.
There you can see the 78 car of Mike Hopkins moving up just a little bit, now in the 13th spot. That's very good to see. Caution. Well, nope, there he goes again. Sorry, Mike. Man, commentary cursed in a big, stinking way. Holy cow, the 78 car stuck.
Yeah, nowhere for him to go there, and was about to comment on how he was running pretty well there in 13th spot, just to despite the damage that he sustained from the last yellow. But something happened there in front of him. Zane Farrell was having problems in the Stonks car, and Hopkins just approached so fast.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it from, we're actually going to take a look at it from the gyro cam on the 78 car with the U-House Race Designs instant replay. And, well, it actually gives us a good view of the U-House Race Designs car right in front of him. So that's pretty cool. A couple of drivers coming down pit road. We'll take a peek at that. There's the wreck, and there you can see the Stonks car crashed. And, man, oh man, that is a violent hit. Bollier, Kebby, Daddio, Lord Uhouse, Gerard, Salvatore, and Messer all coming down pit road to get service. We're going to take a look at this wreck one more time, this time from the view of the number 14 car. You can see that motor has expired, so that was a hard front end hit for Zane Farrell in the number 14 car. And here we see it right in front of Ryan Messer. Messer comes down, gets into the corner panel once, twice it looks like. Big time hit for both of those drivers. Messer gets hit, and there's the hit with the 78 car. 13 gets around, skates down around, and man, that is a tough break for Zane and company.
Yeah, definitely a tough break. And like we said before, when you hit here at Dover, you hit hard. And he had a lot of cars on pit road there. Interestingly, a lot coming down pit road. I don't believe the leaders did, but unless we missed it. But several mid-pack and back coming down. I think Evan Boyer was the first to come down, as well as Kenny Kibbe. It looks like the front did not make a pit stop that time by. So once again, kind of shuffling the deck of cards here and seeing how this is all going to change as we reach the final quarter of this race.
You can see the top 5 drivers came down 24 laps ago. Lewandowski came down 11 laps ago. He's already up to 6th, doing a great job with that 01 car, making those tires work for him. A couple of cars getting wrecked out, a couple of cars coming down pit road, and that 01 moving on up, and he's got fresher tires than everybody else up in the top 5. And you can see Kopech came down about 10 laps ago. He's coming down pit road again, it looks like. That he is in the 16 car, so he's going to get some work done to that machine. But top 15 or so on the same, nope, just kidding. The top 5 or 6 or so on the same set of tires. Looks like everybody 8th on back came down pit road to get 4 fresh Goodyears. So this is going to be interesting, and I think if you're going to get around the 09 car of John Peters in the lead, you're going to have to do it with the opposite strategy, whether it's new tires or track position. You can't, I don't think anybody's going to be able to get around. Brent Roy might be able to get around and motor on around. That 26 car has been pretty strong here at Dover, and it's been pretty strong here over the past half a season or so. Brent really shown a lot of improvement here in the iRacing world, and looks like John Peters going to elect to allegedly take the top side here, but still have a lap or two before those lights go off on the iRacing pace car. Got a little bit of time to kind of sit back and enjoy the sounds of the motor and well, us talking to you here in the booth. And with that said, lights off on the iRacing pace car. The lights are off. There's still somebody home, but we're getting ready to pull that thing down on pit road. And Peters is going to take that bottom side. Brent Roy going to go up on the high side. Dale Glessner having a great run in the number 10 car, running in 3rd. Jason Ricker, mentioned him a couple times here tonight. He's up 17 spots. Biggest mover of the race, 18 spots now in P3, except for John Peters. Started shotgun on the field after qualifying 2nd. Going to be donating a little bit of money courtesy of RSAL TV to the Racing for GNG Fund, GNG's gift, and that's a cool program that got put together. And definitely check that out. Hashtag Racing for GNG on any social media outlet, and you'll be able to see exactly what it is we're talking about. But getting into turn number 3 and 4, that iRacing pace car going to dip on down pit road one more time and turn these drivers loose, potentially for what could be the final restart. 28 laps to go once we get going, and there is the jump for the 09 car. John Peters takes that green flag, crosses the start-finish line, and he's going to go down into turn number 1 with about a 5-car length lead over Brent Roy.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before. However, we've seen them close it right back up once we get a few laps under green, and Brent Roy has his hands full, though, trying to keep Dale Glessner behind him for the moment, and he successfully does. Jason Ricker filing into 4th, Charles Lewandowski in 5th, and lots of great battles going on. Looks like Lewandowski's going to try to get under Ricker, and there's DJ Gerard working into the top 10. Interesting stat that Sal sent to us was that Gerard had 0 top 10s. First 14 races of this season were his first career win at New Hampshire, and then since then he's scored 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. So Gerard the second half of the season, one of the best drivers in the second half of the season for sure.
Picking them up, putting them down, 3/4 of this race done and over with. That 01 car showing how good those newer tires are on the bottom of that thing. He gets around Bollier and Ricker and puts himself back into the 4th position, running up in the 2nd spot earlier on, actually running in the lead earlier on after staying out on track. Everybody else came down pit road, got the strategy up a little bit. There goes the yellow flag, though, once again with 25 laps to go. Ryan Salvatore parked in the racing groove. What's going on there?
I'm not sure. There was someone up high, too. I don't know if they were just skirting their way by or were involved as well.
Little multi-car incident
like something
here.
happened here.
Take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And if you haven't checked out U-House Race Designs on Facebook, you need to. Lots of cool little parts and paint schemes and all sorts of good stuff. Check them out on Facebook. But here we go, 3-way battle here. Brian Shipp in the 48 car, Ryan Salvatore up on the outside wall, down into Kopech, gets a little bit of piece of the bumper of the 48 car. You can see, I believe that's Scott McDonald it is in the 44 car, and the 12 does a great job getting the brakes locked up. Holy moly, Jeff Brown gets down and around, barely around the back end of the car. There you can see the 13 car going high, wide, and handsome as well. But the 48 car back end damage on the Bud Light machine. 12 car, he's going to have to come down at least for tires. And I don't think we're going to see anybody else come down pit road unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but you never know. And that was a chain reaction if I've ever seen one. It looked like Sal kind of he closed in a little too quickly on Shipp and Kopech and hit the wall, and him hitting the wall got into Kopech, which got into Shipp, which then got into Sal, which very interesting incident there. But yeah, Peters running up front once again, and if we continue having these short kind of restarts and some yellow fever going on, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get Peters because the leader has just had such an advantage on each of these restarts. Being able to, of course, fire first, and then just the advantage of that inside line every single time so far.
And John Peters, no stranger to leading races here in the NEP Racing Season 3, Season 2, or Season 1. Any of them you can look at, he's been the leader of at least a race or two, and showing that 09 car very, very fast here in the iRacing sim. And it's going to be tough to get around him, especially like you made mention, if we have a bunch of short runs like this, because one thing that Peters is really, really good at is mixing up the restarts just a little bit. A lot of times, if you restart with the same driver either on the inside or outside, in this case, it's been Brent Roy most of the night, you can kind of judge where that driver's going to go, whether they go early, whether they go late or right on the green flag, the drop of the flag. John Peters mixes it up a little bit. The way the iRacing simulator work and the way the rules are, the green flag, the flagman initially starts the race. After that, as soon as that pace car dips down, these drivers, or the leader rather, can elect to start the race or restart wherever they see fit, as long as it's obviously safe to do so. And what John's able to do is he's able to mix it up a little bit. Sometimes he'll go early, sometimes he'll go late. Sometimes he'll go back to back and kind of mix it up, and it's really unpredictable for these other drivers, for all the other competitors, to kind of judge when the leader's going to go. And that's one thing that Peters has definitely mastered here over the past 3 seasons here with NEP.
Yeah, you got to keep them anticipating and guessing sometimes. And John Peters has definitely mastered that. And but when we go back to green, we'll probably have just about a little over 20 to go, maybe exactly 20 to go. So we're going to have one last stretch of racing to come, and we actually had a 20 or so green flag lap run earlier on, so it could go the rest of the way. Shouldn't say that because it probably will not now that we did say it. But field's doubling up once again, and it's going to be Peters and Roy in the front row, Plessner and Boyer on the second row, Ricker and Lewandowski in the third row. And some of this field is shuffled up, looking outside the top 10. Zane Farrell, we saw him get in a wreck earlier on, and he's back knocking on the door of a top 10 as well.
And anything can happen. Going to get that restart, as you made mention, with 20 laps to go here. And anything can happen on Vidane TV, in NEP, in iRacing. And we're going to find out together right here, right now, and we're going to do it live. Thank you again for tuning in here tonight to Verdane TV, NEP's final race of Season 3, the Shift Marketing and Design Championship 100 here at Dover. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., Aaron Creed with the call down here in the production booth, and we are getting ready to go green flag racing one more time, maybe. Could potentially be the final restart. Everybody's good to go on fuel. Everybody's good to go on tires. Lewandowski, a little bit fresher tires in the 01 car, going to restart in the 6th position inside row number 3, but John Peters taking him to that green flag, and he's going to get that jump one mo again. John Peters takes the green flag, slides on up to that high side. He's going to drive on down the banking. He's going to pull that 10 car with him, Dale Klessner, new P2.
That was an interesting strategy there, kind of maneuvered it to the high side, maybe cutting off some of Brent Roy's momentum there, and it allowed Glessner to get into second. And this time around, last restart, Roy had a little bit of trouble keeping Glessner behind him, and this time, now he's even having trouble keeping Bollier behind him as Ricker and Lewandowski battle for 5th. I have to feel like those tires have kind of evened out and everything, and Lewandowski's not marching as quickly as he was before. As Kenny Kibbe, who's probably on the freshest tires of anyone, is up to 7th, so 8th spot. So let's see, as you look at the momentum he got there, down the front stretch, and just dives below Lewandowski, he's going to set his sights on Daddio now.
And this is going to be a little bit of a struggle here late in the going for the 26 car of Brent Roy, spending most of the time up in the front, leading the race and being out in that clean air. And now he's back in traffic, mired back in 4th. Great battle for 2nd as Bollier looks on the inside of Glessner. Nothing there, but he's going to still keep looking down there. Tuck back into the tire tracks once again and let that 10 car know that he is there. He's going to try and peek down low once again, get some clean air on the nose, see if he can make a run, gets up to his bumper, but not quite enough to get there. Just kidding, to the door, to the back bumper, slide job, Bollier up to P2.
Great pass by Evan Bollier there for second. Dale Glessner was fighting back for sure, but now he's fallen a couple car lengths back, and we got a battle inside the top 5 now with Daddio closing on Glessner and Kenny Kibbe up to 5th spot. Brent Roy outside the top 5 pretty much for the first time this entire day, and Lewandowski is around, and that is just going to be just enough to bring out a yellow.
That is tough. Slides up into the outside wall. Big time damage on the right-hand side of that number 01 car, and that's going to bring out caution flag number 6 with 15 laps to go, and it gives us again an opportunity to pull up the U-House Racing Designed instant replay, and looks like you might have had a little bit of a taparoo from the number 13 car. We'll take a look at it here because that's what we can do with technology, and you can see 13 car gives him a little bit of a how you doing and spins out into the outside wall. The good news is not that big of a hit, just kind of a lazy 360, giving the wall just a little bit of a fist bump with the back of the race car. So that's good news for Lewandowski, and it's actually good news for quite a few drivers. John Peters giving up the lead to come down pit road.
Wow. That's a pretty big development here, and will there be enough time for him to get towards the front once again? That's the big question. But you can tell if he's coming down pit road, that must be the fact that those tires are definitely important. There you see Brent Roy also down. See, he was fading just a little bit. And we are in for quite the show here when it gets down to the wire here. And with just different strategies on pit road, Dale Glessner came down as well. So a trio of cars that have been in the top 5 for most of this race are going to restart outside the top 10.
Definitely interesting strategy late in the going here. 14 laps to go. It restacks and re-racks like this. Currently leading the 56 car, Evan Bollier, came down. Well, let's see when he came down. There's the tires. Everybody up in the top 8 or so, 16, 17 laps on their tires. And you can see Peters was on 40-lap-old tires. So a little bit of differing tire strategy there. You can definitely go another 10, maybe 15 laps on tires, but do you really want to chance it? And do you really want to give up that track position? So I don't know if there's going to be enough time for those tires to even out, but definitely going to need tires if we were going to get a restart here. But Bowyer's in the lead, Daddio in second, Kenny Kibbe, DJ Gerard, Keith Lord rounding out the top 5. Zane Farrell knocking on the back door once again of the number P5 position. He's in 6th. Brandon Newhouse, Dylan Kopech, Brian Ship, and Ryan Salvatore rounding out the top 10. Great to see Salvatore recovering from the earlier incident. And there you can see John Peters, first car off pit road with 4 fresh tires, going to restack in 11th. Dale Glessner, Brent Roy, Charles Lewandowski, Jason Ricker, the top 15. Austin Belke, Brandon Marhefka, and Cody LeBlanc going to be the 18 drivers on the lead lap. Ryan Messer, Scott McDonald still on track. Couple of laps down. Jeffrey Brown coming off of pit road. He's a few laps down. And Magnum Mike Hopkins, he might be taking a nap inside that 78 car, still parked on pit road. Crew's kind of working on it, but it looks like they're just getting that thing to ready to drive on to the virtual hauler and get that thing the heck out of here. So one thing we do want to touch on briefly here, Vidane TV, usually on these races, we like to talk to some of the drivers under caution and kind of get some strategy tips and figure out who's doing what and give the drivers an opportunity to talk to the fans and talk about their sponsors and crew and all that good stuff. But every time it seems like we do that, we give them a little bit of a commentary curse, and we always end up seeing that particular driver in a wreck or run out of fuel or blow a tire or some sort of bad luck. So we're going to try and prevent that here tonight. We're not going to talk to any of the drivers during the race, but we will definitely be interviewing the drivers after the fact and kind of getting ready for the real racing season. Once we get everything wrapped up with the NEP series, we made mention we are in fact going to have a little bit of a virtual banquet here for the NEP series. Going to be live on Vidane TV, so we'll be able to talk to all the drivers about the sim racing season, NEP season 3, as well as what tracks we can find them at, where they're going to be, what's going on, how you can get involved, where you can buy a t-shirt. And that's a big thing. If you're a fan of one of these drivers, or if you're a fan of the series, get out there on Facebook and check these guys out on Twitter. Buy a t-shirt, buy a hat, buy a koozie, anything to help support your local racers, because the more they get support, the more they can keep entertaining us, the fans, and that's a big thing of it. But going to get the restart here. Going to get the restart on a lap, or with 11 to go. That's going to be lap 89, if my math serves me correct. Evan Bollier holding on to the lead. Steve Daddio in second. The green flag flies, and Bollier gets the jump that he needs, moves up to the high side. He's got about 3 car lengths over Daddio in P2.
From the look of that squirrely restart in the mid-pack, I don't know if we're going to go green these last 11 laps. Everyone's really hungry to move up and get their best finish that they can to conclude the season. And but the driver I'm watching, though, is that 4 of Kenny Kibbe up to second. And there, you look at that, John Peters almost getting pinballed there. It's Ryan Salvatore having all kinds of trouble, and is that going to bring out a yellow? Right now we're staying green. So we're up front, though. Kenny Kibbe, he hasn't been out front yet today, but he is now within a couple car lengths of Evan Bollier. Stephen Daddio has pretty much been in the top 5 the entire night, and continues to ride in third for now. And John Peters, by the way, has cracked the top 10 already.
Just getting around Dylan Kopech in the 16 car. Big time damage on the front of that car, but John Peters setting his sights now on 3 cars in front of him. Ricker in the number 9, 3 of Brandon Newhouse, and Keith Lord in the 17 machine. He's going to try and get around all of them in one shot, trying to make that low side work. He's got 8 laps to try and get back up towards the front. Evan Bollier holding on to the lead, though. Kenny Kibbe in behind him. Steve Daddio sliding back into third, and there you can see DJ Gerard, Dale Glessner holding on to the top 5. Zane Farrell in the Stonks car. Earlier incident, Stonks are rising back up towards the top. He's trying to get that thing into the top 5.
And just remember, there's a battle for the points there also going on. Zane Farrell currently a point ahead of Brent Roy. So that's the important thing. You don't want Brent Roy to get by you, but Brent's coming quick, just like John Peters is. Not as quickly as Peters has been, but Roy has as Brian Chip gets all kinds of squirrely. But Brent Roy, if he's on Zane Farrell's tail, Farrell's going to do all he can to keep him behind him and keep that third place in points. So a lot on the line here still with just a few laps to go.
You can see the top 3 still bumper to bumper to bumper. The 56 of Bollier holding on to it. Kibbe in second, right in his tire tracks. And in behind him, Daddio. And the number 99 car, trying to see if they can hold on for 5 laps to go. High five from Barney up in the flag stand. 5 laps left in the race, 5 laps left in the season. We're going to pack up the virtual race cars and dust off the real ones. And you can see here, everybody pretty much single file all the way throughout the field, but they know they need to get all that they can get. John Peters now up to P6, setting his sight on the top 5 car of Zane Farrell, currently holding on to 5th.
You know, a lot of racing going on here for sure, as John Peters all over the back of Zane Farrell, trying to get back into the top 5. And there you can see just by the scoring that's going on, all kinds of up and down going on here, racing for position late in this race as Peters gets under Zane Farrell. Farrell does have a bit of a cushion then between him and Brent Roy, who has not cracked the top 10, surprisingly. And, yeah, we're getting right down to the end of this one as the top 3 still separated by only half a second.
Top 3 have pulled away just a little bit. Daddio moves up around Kibbe to get that second spot, setting his sight now on the lead. But does he have enough car? Does he have enough time to get around the 56 of Bollier? Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go in the race here at Dover. The Shift Marketing and Design Championship Night 100 here at Dover. Down the backstretch, Daddio has a couple of shots. He's going to try and take one here. Enters in just a little bit too high. Backs up the corner. He's going to try and get him off of the exit. Not quite enough there. White flag, white rag. 1 lap to go on the season. Bring us home, Aaron.
Well, it's going to be quite a race home here as Daddio has just picked up some steam here late in the going. But can he find a way by Evan Bollier? We see there's a couple slow cars ahead, but I don't think they're going to catch Ryan Salvatore in time here, as Evan Bollier is going to extend about a car length there coming out of the last turn, and he is going to take the last win of the NEP season. Stephen Daddio second, Kenny Kibbe running out the podium.
Evan Bollier from Durham, Maine, bringing home the final championship season. Going to take a look at the starting lineup. Going to take a look at the finishing order. It's been a long week. It really has. It's been a great season, and we're going to talk to the top 3 drivers as well as the Season 3 champion. Let's take a look first at the starting lineup. We'll take a look at the 56 car doing a little burnout ski in the background, but there you see Evan Bollier, Steve Daddio, Kenny Kibbe. Podium finishes here, top 3. Dale Glessner, John Peters driving all the way back through the field again. In P5 finishes it off, and you can see he's doing his championship burnout in the background. The 09 car, a little dual burnout time. How about that? We'll take a look at that from the blimp, see if we can get both drivers involved in the camera shot. Nope, they're too far away. But there you can see the John Peters champion in the 09 car burning them down. The 56 car winning the final race. And they're going to wave at each other, and then they're going to switch spots. They're going to switch donuts. A little figure 8 action going on there. How about that? Austin Belke going to finish that 24 car in the 6th position. Zane Farrell slides back a little bit, finishes 7th. Still a solid top 10. Keith Lord, Jason Ricker, Brent Roy going to round out the top 10. DJ Gerard, Brandon Newhouse, Cody LeBlanc, Dylan Kopech, and Brian Ship going to be the top 15. Lewandowski, Marhefka Salvatore in the 18th position. Boop, turn the page. Ryan Messer, Scott McDonald, Jeffrey Brown, and Magnum Mike Hopkins rounding out the field for the very final time here in NEP Season 3. And this is the kind of stuff you like to see. A little virtual fist bump action from the champ and the final race winner. And we're going to try and get caught up with all of these drivers and see if we can get a little information from everybody that's going on. And we're going to try and get hooked up in a victory lane. And I'm going to slide it over to you, Aaron. You've caught up with the winner, Evan Bollier.
Bollier, great run down to the wire there. Your 4th win of the season, I believe it is. And has a field to win here at Dover.
I love this track. It's really exciting to pick up a win in the final race. What a great season, you guys. Thank you for everything that you guys did for the series and everything that the admins did, host and Corey and the rest of the guys and Sal that put a lot of hard work into this. Can't thank my 229 Autosport teammates enough. I knew we had that yellow with 30 to go. I saw John not go. I had to go. It was the only way I was going to beat him. I had to try something. So play the pit strategy right, and we were able to come out on top.
Yeah, team effort for sure. Like you mentioned, all around, whether it's the league or uh, or the racing. But yeah, when it came down to the wire, though, you still had a couple very competitive racers right on your tail in the form of Steven Daddio and Kenny Kibbe. Talk about keeping them behind you there as the laps wound down.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Kibbe gave me quite a run at the beginning of the run, and then Daddio was coming on strong at the end. And Daddio's been fast at all these any of these tracks really all year. I think his most improved driver is definitely him. He's really performed this season, and he was right there at the end. Gave us a run for our money, and but I was able to hold on, luckily.
Name off some of the folks you'd like to thank for this victory.
I got to thank Hancock Lumber, Sunday Morning Farm, Restorations Home Remodeling, Nitro Designs, LB Cleaning Co., Laverier Auto Detailing, Jack's Property Service, Amsoil Four Seasons Synthetic. It's got so many great partners on this car. EJ Drywall, K&B Automotive, Winners Pit Products, and of course all the guys at 229 Autosport. We've had a great season. It's been a lot of fun with those guys, and really glad to call them all friends and teammates. And I'm really anxious now that this season's done. Get ready for the real thing in a couple weeks. Our first race is April 16th at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the Super Late model.
Exciting. We'll be pulling for you. That's your winner for the fourth time this season, Evan Boyer. And Paul, I believe you're further down pit road with our runner-up.
Thanks, guys.
That I am. Congratulations to Evan on another victory here this season. He made mention we're getting ready to go real racing very, very soon. Sliding on down pit road a little bit, though, Steve Daddio, the 99 car, coming home in P2. Talk to us, man. Great run.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This is a great track to run. I don't want to say I'm bummed about second, but I had all the runs off of both corners trying to get to Evan's bumper, and I couldn't get there. He ran a great line. It was a lot of fun at the end, but cool racetrack. I mean, for these cars, you got to save in the beginning and kind of pick up the pace as the time goes on. So I don't know. It was a good run. I had a lot of fun.
Good season on under the belt here for season 3. Getting ready to go real track racing. What's going on with the Daddio group? Where are we going to see you at the racetrack?
It's funny. I don't know how long it's been since I actually had my own race car, but I'm going to jump in with the Rent the Race Car guys on the 24th of June. I'm going to do the 30-lapper street stock. So I'll get one real run in this year.
So once you're done checking out Daddio at Stafford Motor Speedway with the Rent a Race Car Group, you got to go back to Stafford Speedway on July 1st to check out this guy and probably the same car. We'll see what goes on with that, but that'll be a lot of fun. The Rent a Race Car Group, a phenomenal group, and friends with those guys for 10-plus years, and I'm really looking forward to this season. And it's great to see Gary's son getting involved in racing. Going to be the third-generation driver. Alex going to be driving his street stock at some point. Still looking for sponsorship for that car, too. So, but in any sense, second place here tonight, rounding off the season, and we're hearing rumors about season 4. It's definitely going to happen. Going to be after the real racing season kind of puts itself back on the back burner in a few months' time. But before we know it, there's going to be snow on the ground. We're going to be right back here live on Verdane TV. Want to give you an opportunity here, Steve. Great season in the 99 car. Who makes it happen for you? Sponsors, friends, family. Who gets you to and from the virtual track and the real racetrack?
I've got to thank the family for watching every night, cheering me on. It's a lot of fun to talk about it after the race. But Daddio's Auto Parts, always wanted them on the race car. Glad I got him on here and got him on YouTube. Brookview Heavy Equipment Repair and TC Facility. Always good having them on the car. A lot of fun showing off those colors running around the racetrack.
Phenomenal season, coming home with a strong finish in P2 and off to a little off season here, but we'll be back on Verdane TV, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
Yeah, I'll be back. Thanks a lot, guys. It was great. You guys on the broadcast. Everybody had a lot of fun.
Always a pleasure here on our end, and going to slide it down even further down pit road, P3. Aaron, you've caught up with Kenny Kibbe.
Kenny, great run today, and looked like it took you a little while to get up towards that front, but we're definitely in contention there. What was the difference there as the laps wound down?
Yeah, I mean, I put myself behind the 8-ball there, and I didn't qualify well. Made a mistake in qualifying, and that really put me behind. And I was just trying to be methodical about it, trying to get through traffic. And sometimes we have long runs at Dover, so I was trying to save my stuff best I could. And at the end, it kind of became a strategy game, and we played the right strategy. But I think there with the last couple restarts, I think I just pushed my tires just a little too hard. I made a charge trying to go for the lead and didn't quite get there. And then I felt my stuff starting to go away. And, um, and then I didn't race Steve too hard there at the end, I was hoping that he would be able to mix it up for the lead there, but didn't quite play out. But a solid run nonetheless. We were able to gain 10 spots, so I'll take it.
And a solid season for you overall. 3 wins, several top fives. How would you grade your season?
I mean, it was way better than last season in the ARCA cars. We didn't win a single race in the last season, even though our points position I think was better. But 3 wins is awesome, and but boy, it's kind of the season of what could have been. We had a lot of races get kind of taken away from us either by strategy not playing out or just getting taken out. But really proud of like how fast we were, and we were contenders at just about every racetrack. Yeah, it was a solid season. I'm mostly just happy that we were able to get a few trophies.
Sure. And who would you like to thank? And I believe, Kenny, you're up there in Michigan, right? So where do we usually see you during the real life racing season?
Well, I'm one of the few drivers in here who doesn't have real racing experience. But you can find me spectating at Berlin Raceway quite often. Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody at NEP for allowing me to come race with these guys, and Shift Marketing and Design, you guys at Vidane TV, and my friends and family who like to watch me do these things. And quick shout out to our Western PA guys. We're attempting 12 hours of Sebring most likely tomorrow evening, so hopefully we can have a good result in that.
Awesome. Good luck in that. And I tentatively have a trip to Michigan for probably Berlin Raceway coming up in August. So definitely have to connect then. And congrats on the 3rd place run. And now I think we going to go back to Paul with someone that doesn't really need an introduction, but we'll give him an introduction anyways.
Oh, he's getting an introduction. The all-fast everything. He wants all the smoke. The phenomenal one. He's got a 10-pack. He's yoked, but he's terrible at jokes. The short track icon. The king of John style. 3-time, back-to-back-to-back, reigning and defending. Undisputed New England, Pennsylvania iRacing, Shift, Marketing and Design Grand National Series champion of the world, John Peters!
Wow. I think you just blew out your microphone, Paul, and I could not appreciate that more. Thank you.
Can't appreciate you, man. 3-time series champion. Back-to-back-to-back. Had a rough start this season. Couple of mishaps early on in the first handful of races this season, but really showed why this 09 car is championship caliber each and every week. And man, coming home with a top 5, you ran through the field a couple of times, multiple times right from the get-go. Qualified second, started shotgun, worked your way up, led a couple of laps. Pit strategy, all sorts of stuff. What's going through your mind right now? First, we'll talk about the race, then we'll talk about the season as a whole.
This was a really fun race. Dover is a blast. It's probably one of my favorite tracks. I wish we could get to it sooner and perhaps run it more than once. But it's really it's all about tires and strategy, and you saw that tonight. And I feel like I did a pretty good job throughout the race, saving my tires enough so that I could continue to move forward throughout a run, and I had everybody in a really good position there, sort of at the end of that first run to get to second, and then have the track position to lead, and I had saved my tires and kept those on pit road, so I felt really good. I just didn't quite get the cautions to fall at the exact right time towards the end. I think the last caution, we didn't quite get enough green flag rums to make the difference in the tires just enough to what I needed, and I kind of got caught in the wrong line on the restart, and that was it. But still really fun to finish in the top 5, and congrats to Evan on the win. Just a really fun season overall. Great way to close it out.
And we didn't even make mention of it. Evan Boyer, tonight's winner, P2 in the points. Came in tonight 54 points back. Pretty much had the championship locked in last week, but we wanted to kind of savor the moment after the race here tonight. Did that do anything with your strategy here tonight, or was it still go out and try and get another checkered flag?
Yeah, I'm just looking to try to win, and of course with Sal putting the money up for G&G's gift for a win or a podium, that's always on my mind, and it's just extra motivation to try to get that win, and we almost had it, but still fun nonetheless. So yeah, the mission tonight was just to try to rack up another win. We almost had it.
Came close for sure. Still a solid victory, solid championship season. Another top 5 added to it. 8 poles, 6 wins, now 14 top 5s in 18 races this season. A phenomenal season, to say the very least. And we know you don't do it alone. Want to give you an opportunity here, John, to thank anybody that makes it happen in the virtual world and the real racing world.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Of course, we're all here because Shift Marketing and Design and Corey and Zane put this all together, and I've really enjoyed racing with this series now for the past 3 years. I appreciate the coverage that we get through you guys at Vidane. I think it elevates the series and makes it even more fun. So we appreciate you doing that, and all the sponsors throughout the year who kick in a little money to help pay for everything that goes into this. Thanks to everybody who's watched all year long. I think my mom's watching tonight with Tanner and Lydia, so shout out to them. I appreciate my fiance letting me do this, multiple nights, sometimes a week throughout the winter, and my 2 dogs who don't have much of a say in the matter, but they sit and wag their tails anyway. And thanks to our teammates at 229 Autosport. Evan obviously, ran a great season, and I think that was his 4th win of the year there, so he did a really good job. Brent won some races and took us all to school on pit strategy. That was cool to see. And he typical Brent, right? He's like P15 in practice tonight and goes out, wins a pole. So he did a great job. Jason is our crew chief. He's always trying to keep us calm and help us strategize. And then Dan, Wyatt, everybody who sits in there with us. And then thanks to my partners, G&G's Gift. I appreciate the league for helping us fundraise for that all year long through NEP Sportsbook, and then Sal there at the end of the year, Libby Septic Service, Derek Nealon Racing, Turn 4 Automotive, Digby's Variety, and 4 Seasons Synthetic. It's a lot of fun, and I will have to see what the future holds, but definitely have enjoyed having some success here, thankfully, and appreciate the guys that I raced with.
100%. It's been a blast following you along this season and the past 2 seasons. 3-time reigning, defending, back-to-back-to-back champion, John Peters. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate the extra effort you put into those intros. They get me jazzed every time.
100%. It's always a pleasure, man. But that's it, man. In the words of Tim Terry, that's it. We're done. Season is in the books. John Peters coming home with the 3rd championship in a row. And we've already got Season 4 kind of talking about it in the works. We might have a little bit more details with the virtual banquet coming up here very, very shortly on Vidane TV. And again, we're still waiting to get a final date set up on that and get that to a screen near you. Be able to tune in on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And speaking of that, we want to thank everybody that's out there watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know that you've watched some entertaining iRacing action here live. And Aaron, final thoughts, man. You jumped in, helped us out with Season 3 in the booth. We've kind of made ourselves a little bit of a connection here, and now it's off to go real racing.
Yeah, I had a blast, and thanks to you and Tim and Corey and Zane and everyone for welcoming me, and it had been quite a few. I followed all the iRacing stuff from afar, especially in 2020 when it's including you all, when we all had nothing better to do but go iRacing. But it had been a long while since I had been really involved with the sim racing world, probably at least a decade. So it's great to be back involved, even from an announcing kind of a point of view, and really hope to do it again here soon. But hope to see everyone at the real life racetracks here very soon.
100%. Stafford Speedway here in Connecticut going to be kicking things off with the 50th annual Spring Sizzler weekend next month. It's a month away already. How cool is that? Pandemic hopefully taking a back burner so we can hang out with our friends and family and everybody at the racetrack. That's going to be a lot of fun. Big time news coming out of Stafford Speedway. Stafford's going to be putting the winner of the Spring Sizzler modified race in the SRX car on July 2nd. That's going to be one heck of a race. That's going to be an awesome story to follow. You heard it here as well. Daddy-O's going to be jumping in the rent a race car in June. I'm going to be jumping in July 1st. Going to be a blast. Get out to the racetracks, get outside, have fun, enjoy the smell of race fuel. It's like $40 a gallon this year. I don't know what it is. I didn't even look. But get out there, have some fun, eat some track food, watch some racing, and again, any drivers out there that you like, you support, if they entertained you here on Verdane TV or on a real racetrack, or hey, even if they gave you a little fist bump, buy a hat, T-shirt. It goes beyond expectations, and it really helps the drivers out, and it shows that you're a fan. But that's it. We're done. We're gonna catch you guys on the flip side. When we do, we will be doing it live.